If you're an MBA aspirant who's interested in finance, then I know investment banking is probably one of the most aspirational roles, because within finance, investment banking, private equity pay the most, and therefore you would want to know that what exactly is this. Well, in this video, I intend to explain to you exactly what is investment banking all about and what are the things which you need to do for you to be able to have the skills for you to get these jobs. Hi, I'm Darpan Saxena and welcome to the Career Launcher YouTube channel, and let's figure out more about investment banking. Well, I broadly intend to cover these four things for you. That, hey, what is investment banking? Investment banking mein hota kya hai? Karte kya hai? What do these big investment banks they do? Then also areas in investment banking, because while this is one broad phrase ki ji, I want to become an investment banker, but within that, what are the various roles and responsibilities and things which a IB person has to do? Then obviously skills required for it, so that you can check whether you have it or what are the skills which you need to build right now from right now, and the top B schools you should be aiming for. Well, let's start off by understanding what is investment banking all about, and I'll help you explain it. I'll help you understand it from two different perspectives. I've tried to build it as a story, as a very simple flowing story. So, here is the thing. An investment bank, which is where you will work, supports whom? Businesses and also governments. So, an investment, एक investment bank के clients एक organization भी हो सकती है, एक proper business भी हो सकता है, as well as governments भी हो सकते हैं. So basically, investment banks support businesses and governments in what? In raising capital, which is also known as underwriting. This is an important phrase which you should know, but simpler words if you have to understand, then this, that they have to raise capital for themselves, for their operations. That's that. Then further, it's not just raising of capital, some other things as well. Managing risks, mergers and acquisitions, and IPO. Obviously, it could be that a business might want to merge or acquire with another, or acquire some other organization. That is the job of an investment bank, to help them go through that entire process. Or a business like CL Educate might want to file for an IPO. Therefore, this business would hire your investment bank, the one which you work for, so that your organization can smoothly get IPO'd. That's that. And there's more to it. Raise the capital from where? Raise the capital from where? You have to understand it through institutional investors and individual investors. So now if you see it, I've sliced this into two. There's something called as the buy side and the sell side. I'll explain to you कि buy side or sell side hota kya hai. Why is it called as buy side and sell side? I'll explain that. My objective on this slide was to give you the full story of it, that investment banks help in this entire operation. Now, this was the first way to see it. The second way to see it is that investment bank works as an intermediary between a business and investors. So for that, just look at this. This will give you a slightly more clearer understanding of where you, as a guy who would be working at an investment bank, where do you sit in the entire scheme of things? Here is where you sit. On one side are the corporates. The corporates are approaching you to raise capital, to help them with these things, whereas you have contacts with institutional investors as well who want to invest. Okay, now, as I said, this side is called the buy side and this side is called the sell side. You have to understand this, that why is this side called buy side, why is the other side called sell side? अगर बाय और सेल शब्द का इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, इसका मतलब ये जरूर है कि कुछ एक प्रोडक्ट है जो सेल हो रहा है, या कोई एक प्रोडक्ट है जो कोई बेच रहा है. So what exactly is that? Well, that thing which is being sold and bought is basically equity. So when an institutional investor is investing in a corporate, what they get uske एवज में is the equity, the shares of this corporate usually. That is how it works. Therefore, for an investment bank, the role on the corporate side is that they need to buy equity. And then once they have the equity, then they have to sell this company's equity to them. That is why this side is called sell side. You should know this. This is important for your MBA admission interviews. And here is one more thing which I'd like to say to you. While I'll be explaining a lot of these things, I will be saying a few things which are not there on the slides. I'll be giving you a lot of extra gyan जो slide में नहीं है. So don't go by the slides only. Also hear me speak. And what I want you to do is that go down in the comments and give me the things which you heard me say which were not there on the slide. If you are able to point out 3 such things, I'll give you a shout out in the next video. Now, coming back to this broadly you have understood, and as I explained to you, this is how it is. That this institutional investor has many individual investors who have invested in this institutional investor. Individual investor कौन? Like you, me, who are individuals who invest in a larger corporation. Now, for example, this institutional investor could be, for example, LIC. That a lot of us have invested in LIC, and now LIC has a lot of wealth which they have to further invest somewhere. So understand it like this. And then obviously, as I explained, institutional investors provide the corporates with capital, whereas the corporates provide the institutional investors with the equity, the shares. That is why it is called buy side and sell side, as I have already explained to you. Now, moving on. इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग में काम क्या क्या होता है, उसके अंदर भी चीजें क्या होती हैं, समझना जरूरी है. Here is what it is. Now, what I've tried to do over here is that the various things which an investment banker would do has been split into what they would do on the buy side and what they would do on the sell side. For example, on the buy side, fundraising is the major thing. This includes IPOs, fund raising through IPOs, or it could be through other organizations who want to buy equity in that organization, which is called private equity. So there are private equity firms which could hire you as well, because private equity firms का काम क्या है? To identify such organizations where they can invest and grow their wealth. That's the idea. And obviously, all of these things. Then some of the areas of investment banking on which they have to manage both the ends is, for example, M&A, mergers and acquisitions. Very important. I could say that this is more on, on this side, but yes. Trading of securities. Securities क्या होती हैं? Government securities. So government securities, 2 organizations may have it already. Then buying and selling of those securities in the secondary markets is called trading of securities. That is that. Please note this. I am giving you the phrases. I am giving you some bit of explanation about them so that you can go back and research more on it. Now, if you're somebody who's genuinely interested in IB, I am giving you a broad intro of this so that you're not clueless about it. And if you're more interested, what I'd like you to do is that go down in the comments and let me know if you want detailed videos on each of these things. I'd love to make it for you, because that will help you understand these more. Then obviously from there, strategic advisory, advising both the sell side and that side on where to, on where should they invest, on where should they seek the investment from. Strategic advisory on risk management. All of those things, they come in strategic advisory. And if I come to the services provided exclusively to the sell side, equity research, कि भैया equity आपको कहाँ पे खरीदनी चाहिए? Which organizations would be good for you to have some equity of? That is equity research. That's that. And this This is the same as that, okay, the wealth is there with the investors. How do we invest that wealth? Where do we invest that wealth? That's this. So these are the broad things which you need to understand. Very important. If you want a specific video on any of these, go down in the comments and let me know. Now from there, moving on to a very, very important thing. This is important. Skills required for investment banking and PE. Most of these skills, and I'd say this for all videos of mine, most of these skills are common skills which most MBA students have to have, which most MBA students will have because they are MBAs, or rather I should say most MBA students should consciously build because this is important. However, some of them I've highlighted to you are very specific that you need to definitely build for investment banking, private equity. For example, financial modeling, to be able to use Excel and understand the growth of an organization, whether investing in that organization makes sense. And also for that organization itself, whether seeking that investment, how could they grow their entire organization, say in the next 3-year, 5-year plans. That's that. Then obviously business valuation. Now when an investor is investing, okay, you would have seen Shark Tank. What is that one thing they always speak about? That your valuation is too high or it's too low or whatever. That is that. So to be able to value that, okay, what is the fair value of this business and at what valuation should we invest how much in it? That's this. Oops. Yeah, then here's one thing which I'd like to say to you. Usually investment banking, private equity roles are much easier for you to find if you have a background in commerce or in economics or even in statistics. These are some quant intensive UG programs which make you very well equipped for a good journey in the field of IB and PE. So this is one skill which you need to build. Then negotiation skills, because obviously here it's all about buying and selling. Making both the sides agree to the terms, buying and selling. The negotiation skills become very important, and obviously like anything else, Excel and PPT become even more crucial in this because a lot of this valuations, calculation, how much to spend, how much to invest, all of these things happen right here on Excel sheets. So you really literally need to be a king of Excel or a queen of Excel, so to say. Your Excel skills have to be exceptional. Start working on them if you are an MBA aspirant, even if you are an MBA student. Now is the time for you to do it. And that is that. Moving on. Top companies for IB and PE. I have separated them out. The IB, the big banks, investment banks, you already know this. Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, HSBC, and all of those things. Now, private equity firms. What are private equity firms? I told you. Private equity firms are basically those firms whose job is to invest in another organization so that after investing, the organization in which they have invested can do well, and once that organization where they have invested, once that would start to grow, these organizations can take a exit and hence they would increase the wealth they have. That's the broad idea. So private equity, they buy equity of larger organizations. So just like when you watch Shark Tank, small startups come to Shark Tank to sell their equity. In the same way, just understand that now these companies are like the sharks. ये company आप समझ लीजिए sharks हैं. And इनका काम है अब larger scale private companies में invest करके equity लेना. That's the idea. Some of the most famous organizations, you would have heard this already: Blackstone, Tiger Global, Sequoia, KKR, General Atlantic. You would have heard these names in the papers, in the news, because these companies, they invest in some of the major big brands, Flipkart, Amazons of the world. You would have heard a lot of these names already. That's that. And finally, let's get to this point, top B schools for private equity, for investment banking. Let's be very clear. Private equity investment banking job roles, the best ones, they come to IIM Calcutta. They do come at IIM Bangalore and at IIMA, but I have arranged it sequentially as per where it's the most probable for you to find a good IB and PE role. And what you need to know is that the best ones come at IIM Calcutta. They do come at IIM Bangalore and at IIM Ahmedabad, but at IMC they are more number of job offers, more number of organizations come to IMC with these exact roles. At times, some of the organizations which come to IIM Calcutta for these roles, they don't even come at IIM Bangalore and at IIM Ahmedabad. Now, apart from this, the three other schools which are very important. Now, what you need to understand is that mostly the front-end IB roles, client interaction IB roles, usually come to the top three, the ABC or the CBA in this case. These roles also, these B schools also get IB roles, private equity roles, but not all of them will be front-ending roles. In fact, very few or fewer of those roles which come here will be front-end. These would be more of the back-end or mid-office roles. So while somebody would be meeting the clients front-ending, somebody would be there to work out the valuations, to do the research and all of those things. So these are the only 6 B schools. Very frankly, if you want quality jobs in this, IIM Calcutta and Bangalore have to be your choices. Salary range, this is crazy. This number is crazy. I call this number crazy because whether you are a fresher, whether you have 4 years of experience, you have the capacity to walk out of your MBA program with a 30 to 50 lakh packages. It's crazy. Like, isn't it crazy? It is crazy. That's why raise your ambitions. Aim for these B schools. You will make it, I'm sure. And these are the kind of salaries. You know, these job roles, investment banking job roles, they give a lot of incentives. So most part of your earning is going to be through incentives, because the larger the deal, the larger the merger and acquisition which you can crack, the larger investment you can pull in for one organization from another organization, more is going to be your incentive. That's that. These salaries within a span of 2-3 years can go over 1 crore. That's the fact. Well, that was my intention to bring to you more about investment banking. I hope you've learned something about it. You've got a good overview of what investment banking is all about. If you're an MBA aspirant who's currently appearing for your MBA admission interviews, this will help you get a basic understanding of it. If you're an MBA aspirant appearing for CAT in the next year, then you know now what is your aim, what could be your aim. Research more on this, go down in the comments and let me know what other videos you want me to make on this topic. Thanks a lot and goodbye.